Today on Running to Him.
The story of Cain and Abel shows how we are to approach God and what can happen when we fail to come to Him correctly. We will read through the Pentateuch until January, and today we read Genesis 4 through 5 and concentrate on chapters 4, verses 3 through 7. Genesis 4, 3 through 7 says, "So it came about in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to the Lord of the fruit of the ground. And Abel, on his part, also brought the firstling of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and for his offering he had no regard. So Cain became very angry, and his countenance fell. And then the Lord said to Cain, 'Why are you angry? Why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will not your countenance be lifted up? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it.'" Now, today I'd like to have a slightly different take on the story of Cain and Abel. We all know how the story goes, but I'd like to focus on the reality of what happens when we fail to approach God properly. In today's reading, we see that both Cain and Abel brought offerings to God. Cain's offering was very generic. Moses writes that Cain brought some of the produce of the land. On the other hand, Abel brought the first of his flock as a sacrifice. Cain treated everything equally. It didn't matter whether the offering was at the beginning or the end of the harvest. He just brought something. God recognized Abel's offering for what it was. It was the first of what God had provided. God also recognized the value of Cain's offering, one of complacency. So let's think about what we bring to God. Do we value what we bring, or is it something that we do out of habit or a feeling of necessity? If we recognize that it's something of value, we should value our offering to God through using that item. For example, when we are given a gift, do we use part of that gift in some way that God might be glorified? Or do we use it the way we want and forget about God? Now, the fundamental principle behind the story of Cain and Abel is not murder. It's not even of the offering. It's really how Cain and Abel felt about God. Cain saw his offering to God as a requirement, a tax, so to speak. We don't pay the government for our first fruits. We wait until April 15th and then write the check. But Abel's offering shows how he valued God. He brought the first things that God brought him and offered them back to God. Now, this is how we should understand our relationship with God. We should look first to serving God and not serving ourselves. God is the one who has given us life. Why is it that we are using it exclusively for our own benefit? Shouldn't we look first to worshiping God through the talents and abilities which He has given us? If we place God first in our lives, our offerings to God will consist of the first and best things that God has given us.
Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.